GCSE English Language Media Module.
Media Module Objectives. To understand and apply technical terminology appropriate to the study of film. To identify and evaluate the effect of different camera shots on an audience. To recognize how themes, atmospheres and genres are communicated by a director's vision. Film shots. Film uses a variety of different camera shots to communicate theme, plot and character to an audience. Directors use these shots, camera angles, carefully to create a specific mood and maintain the attention of the audience. Film shots are used in combination with sound, music, setting, and special effects. Film shots. We can break down the types of shots used in films into three types: shots that have a distance related to them, shots that have some camera movement or position related to them, and miscellaneous shots. First, we will look at the film shots that have distance related to them.
Film shots, distance related. Here is a list of the main film shots that have a distance related to them. Extreme long shot, medium shot, close-up, extreme close-up.
An extreme long shot is sometimes also called an establishing shot. The shot shows the whole scene. Often, it is the first shot in a sequence and is generally an exterior view of where the sequence is set. The diagram below shows how the camera is set up in relation to the scene to record an extreme long shot. Here is an example of an extreme long shot.
Long shot. A long shot is very similar to the previous shot. It shows all or most of a fairly large subject and most of the surroundings too. This shot is used to set a scene and give the viewer information about the subject's location. Long shots should be used sparingly, as too many are boring and a lot of information is lost to the viewer in long shots. The diagram below shows how the camera is set up in relation to the scene to record a long shot. Here is an example of a long shot.
Medium shot. A medium shot frames most of your subject, but still reveals some of the background. If your subject is a person, you would frame them from about the waist up. The actor should occupy roughly half of the frame. These shots are often used to depict an actor making hand gestures or two actors stood close together. The diagram below shows how the camera is set up in relation to the scene to record a medium shot. Here is an example of a medium shot.
Close-up. A close-up shot shows a small part of the scene or subject. It is often used for showing the detail of the expression on somebody's face. The shot should frame the character from about the top of their chest or shoulders up. This shot focuses your viewer on a certain detail and can help to portray emotional content. The diagram below shows how the camera is set up in relation to the scene to record a close-up shot. Here is an example of a close-up shot.
Extreme close-up. An extreme close-up is even closer than a close-up shot. It frames only part of your subject or a very small piece of detail. If it was a person you were filming, it would be only their eyes, nose and mouth. This is a dramatic shot that can provide visual excitement. Like the long shot, this shot should be used sparingly, as too many in one sequence can be confusing. The diagram below shows how the camera is set up in relation to the scene to record an extreme close-up shot. Here is an example of an extreme close-up shot.
Camera movement, position. Here is a list of the main film shots that have a camera movement or a position related to them. Pan shot, tilt shot, low angle shot, high angle shot. Pan shot. A pan shot is when the camera follows the action of the scene in a left to right or right to left motion. The camera will need to be on a tripod to achieve this shot effectively. Pan shots are used in films to follow the action of a scene. A good example would be the camera following a speeding car travelling down a street. They are also often used by directors to show a large panoramic scene that is too big to fit in one shot. The diagram below shows how the camera is set up in relation to the scene to record a pan shot. Here is an example of a pan shot.
Tilt shot. A tilt shot is when the camera follows the action vertically, like an up and down pan. These shots can be used for many purposes, like emphasizing the height of a building or following a rocket from takeoff. They can also be used to emphasize a character looking up and down over a subject, i.e., another character. The diagram below shows how the camera is set up in relation to the scene to record a tilt shot. Here is an example of a tilt shot.
Low-angle shot. A low-angle shot is achieved by having the camera positioned at a low level looking up at the scene. These shots are a very good way of adding emphasis and interest to a shot. A low-angle shot will add a sense of strength and dominance to the subject. This shot will effectively detach the subject from the background and create an illusion of greater size. The diagram below shows how the camera is set up in relation to the scene to record a low-angle shot. Here is an example of a low-angle shot.
High-angle shot. A high-angle camera shot is achieved by having the camera located above the scene that is being recorded. This is often achieved by having the camera mounted on a movable crane arm. This kind of shot helps the viewer to gain an understanding of how all the elements in a scene interact with each other. This shot will also give the impression that the subject is submissive and smaller than they actually are. The diagram below shows how the camera is set up in relation to the scene to record a high-angle shot. Here is an example of a high-angle shot.
Miscellaneous shots. There are some shots that do not really fit into other categories, however they are still used by a lot of directors. Here are some of the most common shots. Over the shoulder, cut away, cut in. Over the shoulder. An over-the-shoulder shot is achieved by having the camera located behind one of the key actors, shooting over his shoulder to capture the face of the other actor. This shot is often used in interviews and soap operas. It helps to establish the positioning of the characters within the scene and lets the viewer get a feeling of how one of the actors will be seeing a scene. The diagram below shows how the camera is set up in relation to the scene to record an over-the-shoulder shot. Here is an example of an over-the-shoulder shot.
Cutaway. A cutaway is not strictly a film shot, as it is more a method of editing. However, it used frequently can be very effective. A cutaway is when the edited film moves its focus from the action of the scene to some unconnected element in the scene. Cutaways are used by the director and editor to create extra interest and information or as buffer between shots. Here is an example of a cutaway shot.
Cut in. Like a cutaway, a cut-in is not a film shot but an editing technique. A cut-in refers to an edit that moves from the main action to show some detail of the main action as a close-up. They can be used as an editing technique or by the director to add emphasis and emotion. For example, a close-up of an actor's hands would help portray the emotions that people give away by their hand movements. Here is an example of a cut-in edit.
Credits.
All video clips are taken from Walt Disney's Holes video.
3D artwork by Will Slater.
Voiceovers by David Ward
and Samia Hamrebton.